Okay, thank you very much, Tuomas, for this interview. You are here. You are going to play Baracaldo in Bilbao in the Basque Country tonight. This is the Decades World Tour, and let's going to talk a little bit about Nightwish, okay?
Sure thing.
Okay, with Decades, both the album and the tour, you celebrate the whole Nightwish career. What do you feel playing the old songs, the songs of your first records, songs you wrote when you were 20, 21 years old? Do you feel nostalgia or something like that?
Nostalgia would be the perfect word to describe how we feel. It really is a trip to the distant past, and every time we play those songs live on this tour, it's an intriguing feeling because I don't think we would write songs like that anymore in 2018. But I still remember the kid who wrote those songs. I remember the band who performed those songs 15, 20 years ago. And it's really interesting to see the evolution of the band. And have to pay respect to the vocalists, Flor, Marco and Troy, that they can sing some of the lyrics with a straight face still. Because if you think about songs like Elven Path or The Carpenter, Devil and the Deep Dark Ocean, they're wonderful songs and they reflect their time, but songs about witches on broomsticks warming up the sauna and all that, it's really cute, but it's just something else. If you know what I mean.
Do you think the old songs change to another dimension with the Flor Jansen vocals?
Absolutely. Yeah, we did some rearranging to the songs. We actually went to Budapest and recorded some orchestras that we use as backing tracks to 7 of the songs. And then we have Troy, Flor, so they bring their own impact to the songs. But we were also really careful not to completely destroy the songs and rearrange them, because this is very likely the last time that we are ever going to play at least some of those songs on the set list. So they needed to pay respect to the original as well. But of course you wanted to update it to the Nightwish of 2018.
Mm-hmm. You're telling me some of the songs you're playing this tour could be the last time you play them. I reckon you filmed the shows in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Buenos Aires in Argentina. What's your plan with those shows filmed?
Actually, it was Buenos Aires and Bogota, Colombia, those two, yeah. Okay. And the idea is, we haven't even started the process yet, but we will come up with the live DV at some point next year.
It would be the last testimony of those tracks.
They needed to be immortalized, is the word, yeah. So definitely worth doing. And we hadn't filmed any shows, any live DVDs in Latin America before, so that was the idea.
This is a very good market for Nightwish right now, the Latin America.
It's always been really good, and especially the fans, the audience, when we play there, it's quite the racket, in a good sense.
Okay. After a couple of monumental albums released in this decade, we are finishing. How did you face the blank page in order to write a new album? The first time you said to yourself, "Oh my God, I have to write another one." Did you feel a kind of pressure, or I don't know?
I don't really feel pressure, but especially after the previous album, Endless Forms, Most Beautiful, I did feel very blank. And that's why we decided as a whole band to take a year off. Because it just felt so unnatural to start doing another album immediately. The stories and the feeling and the passion just wasn't there. But after the year off, now things are looking really bright, and I actually have all the songs already written for the next album, and that's what we're going to be doing all next year.
All next year?
Yeah.
So, can you give us any clue about the musical direction they will follow, or?
Well, even the other members in the band, they haven't heard a single bar yet, so it's really early. But as always before, there are the quintessential Nightwish elements, but there's also something completely new. That's what we have been doing in the past, and that trend will continue on the upcoming album.
When will be the first meeting about this new album with the rest of the guys of the band, when you will show them the music?
That would be in June, in about 6 months.
Oh, in about 6 months.
Yeah.
Will you be nervous when you are going to present them?
I am a little bit. Actually, that's the only time that I feel nervous about songs. because I really want them to feel inspired about the stuff as well. And of course we work with the whole band for months so that everybody is as pleased with the material as possible. But of course the first moment that I present the songs and the lyrics, it's really nerve-wracking. So I just hope that they will like it. So if not, then we'll come up with something new.
So the music is completely done. How many tracks? 11, something like that?
I'm not telling you yet.
Not telling. And how do you begin to write the lyrics as well?
Almost all the lyrics are done as well.
This is a big concept?
I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. All I can tell you is that it's looking really good. The songs are there. They need a lot of arranging, rehearsing, recording, all that. But we should have the ready album in our hands by the end of the year, 2019. So release at some point during the spring of 2020 looks like an ideal.
So you will start recording in autumn or last summer, next year?
Next summer, yeah.
Next summer, yeah. Okay. Okay. You release the next album in 2020. You will have released 3 albums in 10 years, I reckon. 3 studio albums in 1 decade. How were you able to record 3 albums in almost 3 years in the beginning of your career? This sounds crazy nowadays.
I don't know, it just kind of happened because the first album that we did was actually a demo. It was not supposed to be a real album, but our label back then, Spine Farm, thought that the sound quality was good enough so that we could put it out as a debut album. So maybe that's one reason. And also you are really young, really ignorant, really ambitious. You just want to do music and tours all the time. And now, when some time has passed by, you want to think about the other aspects of life as well. You know, people getting families and kids and all that, so you have to balance it a bit more. Back in the days it was all Nightwish and nothing else mattered.
And it's difficult to get that balance between the family, the life and the music and Nightwish?
Not at all, actually. These days it's really balanced and wonderful. You just have to schedule things really carefully and take care of each other.
And this balance could be seen in the next music, in the next album?
Sure hope so.
Okay. In some days you're going to re-release the classic DVD and of an era in different formats. Did you talk to Tarja in regard of this release?
I heard about the release like 3 weeks ago myself. Nobody asked us, so I had no idea about the release. So I just got an email from the label saying that this is the re-release, can you check the cover? They have made some changes, and I was like, what is this? So I have absolutely nothing to do with it. I don't know anything about it, but I don't mind.
So you don't have any kind of relationship with Tarja at the moment?
No.
Okay. And what's the current situation of your drummer, Jukka? Because we saw him at Leyendas Rock Festival in Spain last August. I saw it there. What can you tell me about him?
He's still very much involved with the band. He's the CEO of our company. We are in contact constantly. But when it comes to his future as a drummer, some decisions have to be made at some point next year. But more about that later. But he's feeling much better, and that's the most important thing.
So you're not sure if he's going to come back or not at the moment?
We'll come back next year concerning this issue.
But he will be the drummer next year?
We'll give you some information next year. That was Jukka's wish, and we have to respect that.
All right. Some of you have some side projects. You have Ori with Joanna and Troy. Floor has Norwood. Is this a way of releasing the music that goes beyond the Nightwish style, or because you have a lot of creativity, or why do you have these side projects?
Well, that's it pretty much. And also because I do most of the songs for Nightwish, and there are other songwriters in the band as well, so they want to fulfill their own ambitions. So then they, for example, Margo is coming out with his solo album early next year. So I think it's very fruitful to have these side projects. It kind of like lightens the whole thing of Nightwish as well.
Will you contribute to the Marcos album?
No, I had nothing to do with it. It's like his solo thing.
But is it going to have guest players or?
There are some guest players, yeah, but none of the members from Nightwish are involved, I think.
Okay, you were born in the 70s, but imagine you have, if you would have been born 20 years earlier, what bands of the 70s you would like to have played with? Because the keyboards were really important in the 70s.
From the 70s, well, I wouldn't really know what my taste in music would be like if I was born in the 50s. I could be into classical music or punk or electronic or whatever. I mean, Vangelis did his first albums in the 70s, so I would probably be a big fan of his works, as well as Mike Oldfield. I still think Tubular Bells is wonderful, Omadon, all those classics. So to answer your question, I'll say Vangelis and Mike Oldfield.
Okay. And what do you remember of the times you started listening to heavy metal? What do you remember of the beginnings? What bands did you like best when you were a kid? Or?
I didn't like heavy music at all until I was 15. The hardest stuff that I could listen to was like Queen or early Gary Moore. But then when I was 15, I saw Metallica and Guns N' Roses live in Kansas City, and it kind of turned my life around, at least when it came to listening to music. Metallica was the big turning point, and it was followed by Pantera, Ozzy Osbourne, Megadeth, all the biggies.
Were you living at the States, or was it?
I was there as an exchange student for a year, in 92, 93.
In Kansas City?
I was close to Wichita.
Wichita,
yeah.
Okay, very interesting. And just to finish, have you recently received any kind of proposal from a film director or a company in order to write a film soundtrack not related with Nightwish?
I haven't, no. That's something that I would really like to try at some point in the future. Please not now, because the next 3 years is going to be non-stop Nightwish. But at some point it would be lovely. Maybe not even films, which would be wonderful, but maybe like nature documentary or even games. I heard that they're doing a follow-up to the video game Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6 or 7 or whatever it is. So something like that would be a dream come true.
Okay, just to finish, anything we haven't talked about, we haven't mentioned, any kind of project or anything we haven't talked about, you can mention?
I'm glad we brought up the next album, because that's something that's on top of my head all the time. That's what I think 24/7, and I got to say you the plans for the near future, 2020 release, really excited about it. And yeah, the album release is gonna be followed by a massive world tour once again, so back in Spain for sure.
Okay, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for the interview, Tuomas.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Okay.